welcome. I hate those fucking computers. Let's see if we can put it over here. Welcome to the Spitter Swallow Beer Review. I am Shag Dog, no Jammer this week. Jammer just couldn't make it. He said maybe next week. I said I was gonna skip this week myself. I was like, you know what? I've been drinking every single week. Maybe my liver needs another week break, but the show must go on. Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Milk Stout, Imperial Milk Stout. Beer Advocate gives this one a 91. It's a sweet milk stout according to Beer Advocate. 12% ABV. I thought we'd done this one before, but I don't see the video anywhere on our channel, so it must be one of the other. I know we did a cocoa porter, Imperial cocoa porter, stuff like that, but I guess we didn't do it. Or, I don't know. Maybe it was on the old channel. I don't know. I thought for sure we did this one. But there's the old horse head. Props to all my friends at Horseheads, New York. Yeah, let's do it. Sure, let's give it a good heavy pour, see if we get ahead. A little bit ahead there. I'm hoping it doesn't go over now. Still climbing. Just had to give it a little tiny sip so it didn't go over. Yeah, Kentucky Bourbon Barrel, Altex, Lexington Company, and Brewing and Distilling Company. We've had a few beers by them. I don't think they're great, but they're consistent, I guess. That's a good word. And yeah, some of their Imperial stuff's all right. You know, I don't like a lot of the fruity stuff they have, but tangerine, and I think we did one of their bourbon barrel pumpkin ones one time too. I didn't like that too much, I don't think. Yeah, no jammer though, so I'll try to hold the fort down. Yeah, so pretty dark. Even hold it up to the light, can't even see nothing through it, even on the outline edges. It's like almost a pure black, maybe a tinge of brown in there. The head is almost like a milkshake brown, a little bit lighter than that, a beige going into a brown, basically, but almost looks like a milkshake type, like it's melted, you know. Looks pretty good. Nice thick head. I got a nice little air bubble on this. I don't think you can see it, but a little side of the glass there, right where the head is, a nice little air bubble. There's one bubble, like space. Yeah, so let's get into the old snifferoonie test. Yeah, it smells pretty good. What the hell, Beer Advocate consider this? Sweet milk stout. Yeah, you do get the sweeter milk stout smell with that, like a milk stout. It does say Imperial milk stout. So you do have your milk stout flair with that, but you're picking up the bourbon barrel. Maybe some dark fruits in there too. Maybe like a dark raisin or something. Smells pretty good. Sweet, milky sweet. The bourbon you can smell. Maybe a little slight dark fruit in there. Let's just go ahead and give it a taste and we'll find out, right? Cheers. I'm sitting kind of crooked. All right, let's see if I can get it there. Aye. All right, cheers. Pretty smooth. There is a slight powderness in there. Powderness, right? Almost like when you have I'm not saying it tastes like hot cocoa, but a little bit of a powdery film in there, I guess. Yeah, nice sweet milk stout taste in there. You're picking up the bourbon. It's not overly sweet. It's pretty good, actually. This is one of the better ones I've had by them as the bourbon barrel ones. Not bad at all. I like it. Nice little, nice halfway decent lacing on the glass. Leave it a little lacing. I was hoping Jammer watched, but probably not even watching. Jesus. Yeah, milky sweetness, slight coffee, maybe a slight dark fruit in there. The bourbon, maybe even a little caramel in there. And it's nice, but it's not overly sweet too, so that's great. Or maybe the powderiness thing is just getting a little bit of bourbon. It's not as much now. I mean, I'm not a big fan of like high Imperial stouts that are like 12% or something. I think a 9 or a 10 is suffice. But Jammer's not here, so I'll probably be drinking 2 beers. I might drink 3. I'm not sure yet because I have another strong one. I'm like, and I have one that's lower ABV. It's another milk stout that I have, but it's a regular milk stout. It's 5.5%. This one, what am I going to give it? Yeah, I'll give it a straight up A and a swaff, a swallow and a half. It's pretty good. The bourbon is really smooth. I guess that sweet milk stout is just masking that. You can taste the bourbon in there, but it's masking the harshness, like the burning sensation and everything. All that lactose, I guess. Not sure if there's actually lactose in it, but. And some people say this is too sweet, like too sugary. I mean, it might be a sugary. I'm just not tasting it that much. Yeah. Tastes a little bit. Yeah. But I don't think it's like overly sugary. Not bad. 12.5%. I wouldn't even guess this is 12.5%. If someone like, hey, I got a milk stout for you. Then they ask me, what do I think the ABV is? I'd be like, they say it's a bourbon milk stout. I'm going to guess it's probably high just because of the bourbon part of it, but I'd probably say 8 or 9 at the most. All right, on that note, a lot of things happening this week. Lots of things happening. Let's get my first little thing. Might talk about some of the other stuff on the next video. This isn't any news that's happened on this one. All right, so my parents were watching a Teddy Roosevelt series. I forget what it's called. It's about the young Teddy Roosevelt. And I just pondered. I was like, man, you'd think he would have some famous kids or something, Teddy Roosevelt, or adventurous. And this is what I got. A little bit of history for you. A little bit of the History Channel, if you weren't ready for it. Teddy Roosevelt had 6 kids. And their lives were basically a mix of hero movie and Greek tragedy. Alice Roosevelt Longworth, his oldest daughter, she was like the original Washington rebel, socialite, celebrity, probably would have been banned from Twitter daily. She lived long as she died in 1980, outlasting everybody. Theodore Ted Roosevelt Jr., the tough one, fought in both world wars. And on D-Day, this man literally landed with the troops at Normandy at the age of 56. Survived all that. He was a general. Then his heart said, all right, buddy, we're done. And he died in France, 1944, heart attack. And then the next one, he was the oldest man landed on Normandy, D-Day. His next son, Kermit Roosevelt, the adventurous but tragic son, explorer, soldier, did a ton, but depression hit him hard. While stationed in Alaska during World War II, he took his own life in 1943. That's just one sad man. Ethel Roosevelt Derby, the calm, caring one. She became a nurse, Red Cross helper, kept the family legacy alive. She actually got a peaceful, long life, had a peaceful, long life, died in 1977. Archibald Roosevelt, the guy who couldn't avoid wars, wounded in World War One, then came back for World War II and got wounded again. Same leg. At that point, the leg's got to be like, can I retire? He died in 1979. Quinton Roosevelt, the youngest and the real heartbreak of the story, left Harvard to fly planes in World War One. Was shot down over France in 1918. Teddy was never the same after that. Teddy Roosevelt's kids were just president's children. Weren't just president's children. They were socialite soldiers, heroes, and a whole lot of tragedy followed that family. Makes you realize history isn't just dates. It's real people getting hit with real life. But it's interesting. He had all of his sons were in like World War One, World War II. I mean, just crazy. I don't know. I figured I'd just throw that out there since I pondered on it and Googleized it just to find out Teddy Roosevelt's kids, what they did. He actually, his oldest grandchild died or his last living grandchild died in 2014, but he has many great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. So maybe some of them will be heroes someday too. Here's to Teddy. On that note, I'm going to close this down and get to the next beer. Wait, we finish our beers here on the Spit or Swallow beer review, so I got to finish this one. You know what? I don't care about the gain too much on these things. I just wish I could hear myself talk back with this. It makes it a lot better, but I have to turn the gain way up to do that. I don't like the gain, the sound of the glass. I mean, just even have a little bit of gain, you're going to get that. It's horrible. Horrible. But that's okay. That's okay. Pretty good beer. Yeah, maybe it is a little too sweet. I guess I've been drinking it for a little while, but maybe they cut down on that somehow, but not too bad. For a nice nightcap sipper by the campfire, a pre-bed little glass of some good stout. Well, hopefully Jammer will be back with us next week. He has some things to take care of this week, and he said he might not be able to do it next week, so we'll see. I'll let you know if I'm here by myself. I think next week if Jammer don't show up, I'll probably skip. Yeah. So, anything else going on? Yeah. Really clear skies today here over the Augusta area. Nice blue skies. Really nice out today. I went and got a haircut, although she didn't cut my bangs too well, but that's okay. And just going to drink a couple beers and go to bed and hopefully wake up on a good time tonight, not too hungover. I did get all that beer in there, right? Oh, there was a little tiny sip left. Fooled me once, shame on me, right? Shout out to all of our new subscribers. I can't believe we got like that many new subscribers this week. I appreciate it. Jammer fan, I don't know where you're at. Hope you're doing well. You haven't joined us in a while. I was thinking he'd want to jump in today because usually when I'm solo, Jammer fans like, hey, let me in, and I'm like, all right, dude, settle down. Yeah, pretty good. I don't know if I want to drink that next one. It's a milk stout, and I have a high double IPA or something too. Pure IPA, which is 9%. The milk stout's only 5.5, though. I might drink that. Or I might just do a drinking and thinking video. Who knows, right? I might just do a drinking and thinking video. Get this one beer review done. Get my Teddy Roosevelt spew out of the way. I thought it was interesting, man. He had four sons. One in World War One, flying a plane, probably those biplanes. Got the four wings. The two wings connected. Crashed in France. He was honored in France too. I read something in France. Something to give him a big honor because he's Teddy Roosevelt's son, man. Crying out loud. Teddy Roosevelt was president, 1900, 1902, or 1904? Let's see if I can Googleize that for you. When was Teddy Roosevelt president? 1901 to 1909. Yeah, McKinley was assassinated, and then Teddy took over, and then he ran for, I think, how many times was Roosevelt voted in? How many times was Teddy Roosevelt voted into office?
Teddy Roosevelt was elected president one time, winning the 1904 election. He initially took office in 1901 after President McKinley's death, serving out the rest of that term before his own election.
Yeah, 1904 he ran. He didn't run a second time. But then in 1908, then 1912 he ran again for trying to get a third term as a progressive party, a new party, Bull Moose candidate, but lost. Should have won. But I wonder who did Woodrow Wilson win that year? Did Roosevelt take votes away from somebody else? That's the problem. That was probably the problem. Woodrow Wilson probably wouldn't have won that year. Who won the presidency in 1912? Yeah, Woodrow Wilson. Howard Taft ran as the incumbent Republican.
He defeated Theodore Roosevelt and William Howard Taft. Wilson won with 435 electoral votes, winning in 40 states.
Teddy Roosevelt won a third party. So that really hurt the both of them running. One of them might have won if the one wasn't right. Sometimes that third party thing hurts either the Democrats or Republicans, depending on which way they lean towards, Jim. Yeah, it sucks sometimes. Elections are kind of tricky sometimes when you got more than two people. I know people are like, oh, two-party system, don't work. Well, if you got like 8 people running, it's taking votes away from. So you're going to get, just say, for instance, 1,000 votes. 1,000 people are voting. You got 8, we'll say 10 people, make it even. 10 people running for office. I can't do drunk math right now. I'm not drunk enough, but 1,000 people are voting, 10 people running for office. Somebody's going to get the most votes, more popular out of 10. But if there wasn't that many people running, they had that when I was in Panama. They had like 8 people running for presidents. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen before. A lot of different political parties. I got a bunch of T-shirts, actually. I ended up throwing them all away because I couldn't wear them in Panama itself. So, I couldn't wear a political T-shirt in the Republic of Panama being a U.S. soldier. I think that was part of the Canal Treaty, or I might have got jumped by Panamanians. I don't know. But my girlfriend gave me a bunch of those shirts, and I brought them all home, but they all shrunk when I washed them. It was horrible. Must have been made in China or something. I don't know. But I did keep one of them. It was halfway decent for a few years. But two-party system is the best. You're welcome. One more beer review, I think. I'd really like to do a drinking and thinking video. I got lots of things to say for that, but I might do one more beer review, even though it's another milk stout. I might as well do another one. It's not fun on here without Jammer, I tell you. Even though he does most of the talking, I can't get hardly any words in. But that's okay. I like to listen occasionally. We'll see you on the next one. Spitter Swallow Beer Review. Shag Dog. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like. Jammer should be back next week, hopefully. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, I'll be back on in about 10 minutes with another delicious beer. See you on the next one. That's right, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, click that bell.